Welcome to the Profitable Painter Podcast. The mission of this podcast is simple: to help you navigate the financial and tax aspects of starting, running, and scaling a professional painting business. From the brushes and ladders to the spreadsheets and balance sheets, we've got you covered. But before we dive in, a quick word of caution. While we strive to provide accurate and up-to-date financial and tax information, nothing you hear on this podcast should be considered as financial advice specifically for you or your business. We're here to share general knowledge and experiences, not to replace the tailored advice you get from a professional financial advisor or tax consultant. We strongly recommend you seeking individualized advice before making any significant financial decisions. This is Daniel, the founder of Bookkeeping for Painters.
And this is Richard, tax director with Bookkeeping for Painters. How's it going, Daniel?
It's going well. Just had a baby, I guess, since last podcast, I believe.
You had a baby? That's awesome. Does
Yeah.
Melissa know? Just kidding. No.
Yeah, my daughter saw on Netflix, I think they're showing Junior. It's like a little icon, and she really wants to watch that movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger is pregnant. She's like 4 years old, but she's like, I want to watch that one where the man's pregnant.
Wow, that goes back like 30 years. That was back when like Twins was in its heyday, and awesome. Well, congratulations on your fourth child. Any other milestones this week?
Since you asked, also a 10-year anniversary as well.
Awesome.
With my wife. So that was another big milestone. So we're just a lot of milestones this past week. It's crazy.
Busy fall. So no, congratulations, Daniel. That's awesome. 10 years is a great milestone. And you and Melissa are a wonderful couple. So very happy for you. Now there's no way I'm gonna be able to segue from that into today's podcast smoothly. So I'm just gonna go for it.
We have a great partnership, and if you are looking for a partner, there we go.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. So if you want a great partner in your business, right? You're not going to, don't marry your business partner. What if you need a good, so we're going to talk about partners in your business, but specifically raising money in your painting business. Cash is kind of like the fuel that burns our business fire. And when you've got a company that is running on all cylinders, you've solved the problems in your company, you've got a great sales process down, you've got a great production process down, dumping cash into the company for things like advertising, equipment, hiring new people, that's like dumping gasoline on a fire. And so when you get to that point, you might be looking for ways to raise capital in your business. And I thought today we could talk about 3 different ways in which you can raise capital for your business, and also some of the pros and cons and pitfalls. And there's going to be a couple words that we never want to say when we're doing this unless we have the right circumstances. So lots of cool things to talk about today.
Yeah, this reminds me of Phil Knight, Nike, and Sam Walton, Walmart. A lot of these founders where they start their business and they have something cool that they created, this business that's working really well, but then they are hitting like a ceiling where they don't have enough money to expand quick enough, and so they're having to figure out. Most folks go to debt first. They try to borrow with the bank, but sometimes, especially back in the day when these folks were trying to do it, it was really hard getting financing for businesses, and the terms were terrible, and the bankers didn't really understand their business, and so they were just really struggling with cash. Even though that they had a successful business, they were just really struggling with cash. So they eventually had to do part of what you're talking about here, which is get other business owners in on the business, or partners, to provide capital to grow the business further. Yeah,
it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen that show Shark Tank, where the business owners pitch their businesses to the potential investors, the sharks, and they're always seeking $100,000 for 15% of my company. It's similar to that, basically trading a portion of your company for cash. And it can be a really useful way to grow your business if it's done right. You're probably not going to go on Shark Tank. If you do, steer clear of Mr. Wonderful. No, if you go on Shark Tank and you make a deal, that's awesome. You gotta let us know about that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So
but for,
I so I would think, and you can chime in like what you think this would look like, but if you have like a painting business that's doing $2 or $3 million in revenue in your local area, and you want to take those same processes and systems and go like to different areas, but you feel like you need capital to do that, like maybe you want to open up different locations in the surrounding region or whatever, this seems like a like a certain situation, like a situation that would apply here where you might want to some additional capital from partners. Would you agree?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. There could be a lot of reasons why you need extra capital. Um, if your ad spend is bringing you in that 3 to 1, CAC ratio that we talk about, and you're like, hey, right now I only have enough money to spend X on marketing. What if I was to double that? I could double my profits. Uh, Maybe it's that situation where, adding that cash, that fuel to the fire, would make sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're probably not going to go on Shark Tank. Probably, for most folks, potential sources of capital would be family or friends who want to be a part of your business, or maybe other business owners who have seen what you've built and want to be in on it. You might also have employees who you really know and trust who want to just be more than an employee. Maybe they want to be a part owner and they're willing to invest some of their money in your business. When you're taking on partners, we kind of want to understand that there's kind of like two different trains of thought here, right? Um, you've got partners who want to be kind of like silent partners, and then those who want to be active in the business. Typically I'm going to say so-called silent partner does not want to work in your company. They want to set it and forget it. They want to hand you a big pile of cash and say, take this and make me money, right? That's kind of what you see on Shark Tank usually. So they want to see a significant a significant return on their investment, but they don't want to be involved in the day-to-day operations. On the other hand, you might have someone who's an active partner. This is someone who wants to be in the room where it happens. They want to have meaningful input in deciding the direction of the company. They want to have, voting rights. They want to contribute as an active owner of the business. Whether the person coming on is more passive or more active, both of them are going to want significant returns on their investment. So, like, let's just talk quick about like what kind of expectations they're going to have. There's a lot of ways of investing money. Typically, we see, buy stocks, buy bonds, buy mutual funds. These are easy and somewhat safe investments. You can pretty much guarantee, an 8 to 10% return over time with an index fund or a mutual fund. So if someone's going to come to you and give you their money instead of buying into an index fund, they're going to want more than an 8 to 10% return on investment. They're taking risk. They're less liquid, right? It's hard. Yeah, I can sell index funds, at the snap of my fingers. I can't sell my shares of a business, privately owned business as quickly. So they're going to expect a lot more returns. So just kind of setting that expectation, understanding like what they're going to want to see from your business will be good to know. Now, we also want to consider the Security and Exchange Commission, better known as the SEC. This is the branch of the government that monitors and controls investments, stocks, things like that. And they have a definition and a different perspective on things like silent partners and investors. The SEC is going to consider any type of money partner to be an investor. We're going to define that term investor. If that person has been given a promise or an expectation of return on their money, if they've invested money with you, and this is important, if they rely solely on someone else's efforts in the business. So we've just described that so-called silent partner, right? Somebody who expects to get respects a return, they've given you money, and they're relying on you to provide that return. The SEC would consider that to be a security investor. And this distinction is very, very important, because if you sell securities without the proper filings and the proper licenses, then you have securities fraud. And you do not want to run afoul of the SEC. I'm more afraid of them than I am the IRS. So we just want to make sure that we're using the correct terminology and handling this properly, so that we don't irritate any government agencies. All right, now that I've scared everybody, let's talk about 3 different options for bringing on a money partner into your business. So option 1 is probably the most common, and that is bringing on a money partner as a true active business partner. Right? This is the most straightforward approach. I will sell you 20% of my business for X amount of dollars, and you will be an active partner who works in the business. You will have a say on the direction of the business. You will be in the room where it happens. You will get your 20% of the business profits. The pros on this is that you don't have to worry about registering with the SEC. There's no extra legal work. And probably the most important benefit is that you're going to get the help and advice of a true partner, someone who's got skin in the game, who wants you to succeed, and you're going to be able to work together. Now, the cons of that are kind of the same thing. You have a true business partner, and they're going to want to have a say in how things are run, and they have the right to have that say. So you guys might not agree on everything. There's going to be potential for more conflict. You're going to have to give up some control and address their concerns and listen to their input. Now, we would never want to use the term silent partner to describe this situation, because again, silent partners rely solely on someone else's efforts. This person is actively involved in the business. We would never want to give our active partner a reason to claim that they weren't involved in the operations or that they didn't know what was going on. If the business was to suffer a downturn or fail, and they were being referred to as a silent partner, or maybe we have documents saying that they're a silent partner, it could open us up to a lawsuit. It could open us up to SEC scrutiny. We don't want that. So silent partner, that is a taboo word. We don't ever use that word unless we've done the SEC filings. All right, so that's number 1, right? Active, true business partner. Well, what if you're in a situation where somebody wants to give you money, but they don't want to be active in the company, and you don't want to have to do an SEC filing? Well, you might consider bringing in that money partner as a bona fide lender. This is just like when you go to the bank for a loan. Your money partner is going to give you cash, and you are going to repay that loan with a payment schedule and an interest rate over time. The benefits of that is that the lender has a fixed rate of return. So it doesn't matter if the business does good, great, or poorly. He gets his 8% a year or whatever the interest rate is on the money that you borrowed. This person is not involved in the business. They don't make decisions. They don't have any control over you. They're just a lender. This is a great option if you want to have that silent partner, that word we're not supposed to use, but you don't want to have to deal with the SEC filings. Now, if we're doing this, we want to be careful that we are actually treating them as a lender. So no backdoor profit sharing. If they agree to 8%, that's all they get. They don't get a percentage of the profits. They don't get a bonus. They're a lender. They're not involved in the company. If you were to start to involve them in the business, either through allowing them to, make decisions or giving them like a share of the profits, well, now you're treating them as a partner and you're opening yourself up to all sorts of problems. For you with the SEC, also for the person loaning you the money. Because if the business defaults, creditors could actually go after this lender, claiming that he's not a lender, he's actually a partner, and he has responsibility in paying the company's debts. So the takeaway here is clearly understand what type of relationship you're having with this lender, how they're going to provide you the money, and put everything in writing, have the right documentation, and don't cross the lines. Don't muddle the water, so to speak. Keep it well defined. All right, so the third option is the most difficult option, and that is, you know what, we're just going to go straight up and offer a security. We're going to do it the hard way. This is a true equity position. This is a Shark Tank type deal where you give a percentage of your company's shares away in exchange for money. Now, you will absolutely have to file with the SEC for this one. So you're going to need to consult with an experienced securities attorney. They are going to make a Regulation D offering and file the appropriate paperwork on time with the SEC and the different states in which you are offering these securities. Now, if this sounds difficult, it's because it is, and it's going to be expensive. So expect to spend at least $15,000 in attorney fees to set this up. So this is probably not going to be your first choice, but if you really do want to bring on silent partners or investors, this is what you need to do. So just to kind of, recap what we talked about, bringing money into your company is a great way to throw fuel on the fire. You have different options for doing that. You can bring a person in as an active partner, which they will pay you for shares of your company, and then they will help you run that company. If you don't want someone else making decisions with you, you can borrow money from them as a lender, but keep it as a loan arrangement. They get an interest rate, not a percentage of the company's profits. And then the third option is if you truly want to sell shares of your company to potential investors, then you need to do your paperwork and file with the SEC. So unless you've done that, please don't use the term investor or silent partner. Those are words that will get you in trouble if you're not offering a true security. There's a lot of different options for raising money. So, consider each one carefully before you sign any deals. And also consider whether the money is actually something that's going to benefit your company. I just got to throw this out here. Money is awesome, but throwing money at a problem does not always solve the problem. So make sure that whatever, bottleneck you're facing is something that money can actually improve. If you have issues with your process or your operations, you might take on a partner for their experience and for their help, not their cash. Or you might need to get those things fixed before you start throwing money at the problem. But if you're firing on all cylinders and you're ready to go, bringing in capital is a great way to scale your business. So, we'd love to hear your experiences. If you've had to bring on partners or raise capital, you can go to our Facebook group, Grow Your Painting Business. We would love to hear what you have to say about that. Or if you have questions about anything we talked about or suggestions for future episodes, definitely let us know in the comments. We love to interact with folks on Facebook. And with that being said, I really appreciate you listening, and we will see you on the next episode.